Hey everybody, welcome back to Success Secrets Revealed with your host, Ronald Couming from RCS Online Solutions. Today we have with us an exciting guest, Rachel Smets, who's going to talk to us about clarity. She's a clarity coach amongst several other accolades she has, but we'll go into her bio in a second. I wanted to let you know a little bit about how this show came about. This show came about, I have a radio show called Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ronald Couming, but because of COVID, they're not manning the station. Now we have 1.7 million reach, so I mean that was nice to have, and there was a lot of people that we could send out really great information to. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to continue to deliver current information. So because they're not manning the station and they're running reruns, I decided to create this show, bring on subject matter experts that are all vetted by me. There's no fakes or phonies here. Everybody is legit. And give you guys current information, especially the way that the world's changed because of COVID. I figured it had more value than hearing a great interview that was from 2.5 years ago or 3 years ago. I mean, I've been doing my radio station for 4 years. So that's pretty much the gist of how Success Secrets Revealed live stream came about. No guest gets paid to be on the show. They're here just because they want to give back and contribute. I don't get paid to be on this show. And we do have one sponsor who pays for the live stream and the VAs and everything, and that's my company, RCS Online Solutions. We're a digital marketing agency specializing in search engine optimization. We guarantee you first page placement on the search engines before you even pay us. But we also update and create websites, social media, funnels, whatever you need, the whole gambit. But you can have all that. At the end of the day, if people can't find you for your solutions and the products and services you offer, you have a hobby, right? Because you might be getting 10 people from here and there, but you really need to be on the search engines. And so that's what we do. We get people ranked on the search engines, and we'd love to assist you. But now I'd like to read Rachel's bio. Rachel Smets is a clarity coach, 2-time TEDx speaker, author, YouTuber, and online course creator. Rachel helps ambitious individuals create a plan to escape their corporate lives and to have freedom of being their own boss. Live your life without asking permission. Through clarity, confidence, and clear steps, we create the life that you desire. Life is short, so start living. Please help me welcome Rachel.
Woohoo! Hi.
Rachel.
What an intro. Love it.
Yeah, I did an introduction. I did an interview rather. I don't know if you know Eric Zuley, but Influence Effect. It's a book that's coming out. I'm a published author in many books, and that's a collection of 50, 80 people or something. And so I did that interview on Saturday. And he has a great clap track, right? So after he introduces you, it goes to a screen with a whole bunch of people, right? And it looks like they're clapping. Now, it's just a clap track, right?
Yeah.
I figure I need to get one.
Yeah, that would be good. It's true. Yeah,
A little comedy, you go from being serious to the introduction to,
it lightens up.
In a minute, yeah. So, Rachel, I mean, that bio, I've talked to you backstage. I've obviously read your website. I've talked to you previously. We've had many interactions on social media. And I know you're a rock star, and I know part of your history and how you came to be doing what you're doing. But could you please share some of that with the audience so they can get a better picture of what you do?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you so much. And I'm super, super happy to be on this show, Ronald. So thank you so much. Where do I start? I don't want to start too long ago, but a few years ago, I was in corporate world, and I was just doing my job, earning well, beautiful car, and then all the benefits that you want. But I was deeply, deeply unhappy. And so that's actually where my journey started, because I was just getting more and more stressed. I dreaded getting up in the morning. I just wanted to hit that snooze button over and over again. And I just really, really hated working for a boss. It's like I'm deep in my heart and soul and blood, I'm an entrepreneur, and I was doing this corporate job. Why? Because you have the degrees and you roll into that and you just do what's expected from you. And I used to be that big people pleaser as well, and just doing what everything what you should be doing. And so that's what I did, and I earned well and all of that. But I just felt so unhappy and really, really like burning out as well. And so that's when I really started looking into myself, like, okay, what is it that Rachel really wants? What is it that I really want? And it took a while. It took a lot of going deep within. But bottom line is that I figured out what I really wanted to do, and that was being my own boss, and that was traveling the world. And as much as other people are scaring me and giving me like, oh, are you sure, and then should you really do that, and how are you going to do all that, and just making me doubt, I was able to find and create my own path, and the journey that I really wanted to, and that makes me really happy, and surrounding myself with the people that motivate and inspire me. So it's we can talk more about that, like what are all the steps. But the fact is that my dream was really traveling the world, being location independent, being my own boss, not having to ask for permission to buy a few pencils, and get all those signatures, but just do the things that I love. And I can honestly say I'm living that life now, because I created that and I took all the steps, and I so believe that anybody can do that. And that's the clients that I help, that are stuck and that want to also live their dream life. And it's really possible.
I love it. And that, truthfully, I mean, I can't tell you how many people I know that want to live that. As I said, I own an online marketing company, and a lot of people will come to me who are business owners and entrepreneurs, and they're trying to accomplish exactly what you have accomplished.
Yeah.
And that's huge. So I think we have like a mutual, fan base. I mean, I create,
Yeah.
so I'd love to talk to you about that after, but
Yeah.
it's tough because a lot of people in corporate America, they have that sense of security, and they might have a family and they might have obligations. How
Yeah.
did you overcome that doubt or that fear, those insecurities? I mean, the steps you took in going to events or learning this, so that's one thing, but a lot of the battle in the beginning, at least, is internal. So how did you manage to fight that?
I'm super happy that you asked me this question, because let me get things clear. First of all, I'm saying this, and it doesn't mean that it's just a smooth ride and it's so easy, right? You know that, I know that. So I just want to make really clear that I'm very straightforward, I'm very down to earth, and I'm not giving you like, oh, life is all rosy. No, it isn't. It takes a lot of effort. It does. And you know that, and I know that. So I just want to make this really, really clear before anything else. But you nailed it when you said it's that fear. And that's the one thing that I talk about so much. And I have so many videos on my YouTube of that. And with my clients, it's the one topic that comes up all the time, because it's the fear, not just the fear of failure, but most of the time the fear of the unknown. Because there you are in that safe and secure and familiar comfort zone. You're earning good money. You know exactly what to do. You go in and out every day, and that's the path, but you're unhappy. So what is going to happen when you actually, take another route and take another path? It's the unknown. But here's the thing, everything in life starts with being unknown, like the pencil, the phone, the water, the table, everything that is existing starts with the unknown. So if you're afraid of the unknown, it's unknown. So why be afraid of not knowing? The beauty is that the unknown is up to you to create. And everything, and here's the thing, here's the key concept, everything starts with a thought.
Mindset.
Everything. It's the mindset, but it's the thought. The power of your thoughts is just incredible. And I'm not a woo-woo person. Yes, I believe in manifesting things, but it's incredible, because I studied psychology, and the power of the thoughts. You think something, it influences your attitude, your behavior, and then you act upon your thoughts. And so there's a ton of examples I could give you, but imagine you're standing on a beach, a foggy beach, right? And you have this destination, like you have a dream life that you want to achieve, and it's behind that fog, and so you can't see it. And so if you stay where you are, you're never going to get behind that fog. You're never going to achieve that dream life. But it's about taking a step and then you uncover new things and new opportunities, and then you take another step and you walk into that fog, and that's how you uncover more and more. But people just stay where they are because it's comfortable, because they know what they have to do, and it's too scary to take that step. But the only way to overcome fear, the only antidote, is by taking action and confronting your fear and making friends with your fear and shaking hands with your fear and seeing fear as something positive. Because Ronald, you're going to agree to this. Fear, having fear is a sign of growth. When you do something new, when you do something for the first time, there's this fear. But how about seeing that fear as something positive, as something exciting, as something like, oh, I need this. Whenever you had a step in your life of growth, you always went through some fear. So the fear can be something positive, and it shouldn't be stopping you. It should give you, move you forward.
Yeah.
So it's really taking those steps and taking action.
I love it. Talking about using your fear to empower you, not to disenable you. I love that whole mindset. And it's funny. I remember Les Brown. I forget the exact quote, but he was talking at one of his events. A woman came up to him, and she was probably, he was at the time probably in his 60s. He's mid 70s now, but and she was probably like 75 or 80. And she said something to the effect of, my biggest fear in life is that I'm going to die with all I have inside me. I'm not living, I'm not giving what I'm supposed to. And so I think that's huge. But I think when people start to have those thoughts, right, of breaking free, one of the things that might really hurt them is, you don't ask like somebody who's never written a book, how do you write a book? Because, naturally they're going to be like, well, that's too hard. It's too expensive. What do you got to say? What's the process? Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Or, something, whatever it is. So I think it's so important that in the beginning, you get a mentor, someone like yourself, whose clarity will help you get clear on what you want. But you wouldn't ask your broke brother-in-law for financial advice, right? So you get a coach, you get a mentor, somebody who has been there, somebody who, and maybe it's at the beginning, it's a clarity coach, it's a strategist, somebody, what is your skill set? Somebody who can help you figure out the pieces. So then you can take that next step, because there might be 7 or 10 or 15 steps, right? But you got to take that first step before you can take the second step. And I think it's so important. I tell my client, get a coach, get a mentor, preferably somebody who's been in that field specifically. So I think you helping people with clarity right off the beginning is so vital, because that's where it all starts or ends.
I've been making a few notes, because I really want to say something. The first thing you said was so beautiful. It's that regret, and that's the one thing that I keep saying. It's like the biggest pain for people is regret. And how many research has been done for people that are at a later age, and then they look back upon their lives and they're like, oh, I wish I had. And that's the one thing that drives me from day one. It's like, I do not want to grow old thinking, oh, what if I had done what I wanted to do? And that's the one thing that just keeps me going. Like, no, I want to grow old and be able to say, look, I lived the life that I really wanted, And so that's the biggest pain is regret. And if you are miserable right now and you want to change, and you wait and you stay stuck, in 5 years from now, you'll be older and you'll still be miserable. The time is really now, right? And then the second thing that you said is like, and that's also something that really holds people back. And that's also what I talk about in my video training is, we are in a situation right now. A lot of people are stuck, right? Whether you are, in a job, or you want to change something big, or you want to shift careers, you're right here. This is your situation. And you're looking at maybe other people, who are doing what you want to do, or you have this image of a dream life. And that is like the top of the mountain. And so you're here and there's the top of the mountain. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can never achieve that, or I can never be like him or her, right? And it's like, it's the distance, the gap between now and there is just too big. So, but the thing is that, again, you stay stuck and you do nothing and nothing will change. But the whole thing is, and that's also where a mentor and a coach comes in, is like, okay, okay, hold on. You cannot be at the top of the mountain. I did not quit my corporate, from one day to the next. I always tell people, please do not take the leap of faith. I hate it when people are like, oh, follow your heart, just do what you love. No, it doesn't go like that. Make a plan. And that plan is breaking up that mountain into smaller hills. And then you can climb a hill and you can do some hiking and another hill and another hill. And yes, that's exactly where a mentor or a coach or someone who has been in your shoes. And to give you some examples, it's like when I first went, because I've been living in many different countries for the past 20 years. And so the very first time I was like, okay, who do I talk to? I go and talk to people who have been there, who were living abroad. And I ask them questions like, hey, what did you do? What's your first step? What should I do? And that's how you get the ball moving. When I was writing my first book, I talked to authors. You look for people, whether it's a coach or a mentor, someone who has been in your shoes and who can tell you, this is the first step and that's next. And that's exactly what you and I are doing with our clients. It's like, we know we've been there. So we know, okay, hold on. It's okay. You're not going to be at the top of the mountain yet, but let's start here and then that and then that and then that. And that's how you get there. And if you don't take any steps, nothing will change.
I love it. And I really liked it. There was something I liked all of what you said, but you also talked about how when you see somebody who's very successful, comparing yourself to them is unrealistic. And those people who are very successful today, that's 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20 years after they started. They went through a multitude of trials and tribulations, which is part of what I really want this show to be, is when we're talking to the business owners and entrepreneurs, we're letting them know what we went through, how we overcame it. So A, they know it's possible, and B, they'll be able to navigate around it. But when you see someone who's super successful and they're in front of the room and they're leading and they're rattling stuff off like this, believe me, that's 10, 15 years later. That wasn't like today they woke up and decided they were going to be a business coach and go out and, have 100 events a year. That's a long time. And it really does start with having a coach.
I'm so happy you say that, because that was actually the second TEDx talk that I did, was comparing yourself to others, and be the best of you. So I love this topic, but it's also one of the main reasons that people are stuck and they stop, because they look, and nowadays with social media, you browse through your phone, it's like, oh, look at them, beautiful relationships and amazing achievements and beautiful careers. But we see the beauty. Everybody's posting their best and they're hiding their mess. But we all have mess. We all have bad days. And like you said, it takes, Beyonce didn't become Beyonce because of just like that overnight. No, we all, if you want to look great and toned and fit, you have to work out and go to the gym over and over, right? It's just the same thing. Nothing just happens. Nothing just falls from the sky. But we see somebody's outside and we compare it with our insides, like, oh, they have it all and oh, I'm nothing. It's actually, when you think about it, ridiculous. And there's this quote, comparison is the thief of joy. It is. If you compare yourself to others and then you do nothing because you think, oh, they have it all and I don't, nothing happens. But I do have to say, when I say comparison, stop comparing. I would say that. Stop comparing and feel bad. However, when you look at someone who has what you have, who has the life that you have, it's great, but use it as inspiration to then say, hey, he or she can do that, so can I, and start taking the steps. Because it's not about, it's good to look at others, right? It's good to look at you and all of the achievements that you've done. So, hey, Ronald, what can I do to get there?
Yep, I love it. And it's just a matter of how to get there. If they did it, I can do it. And so I think that's huge. And that's the very beginning. So now let's say we have somebody who's decided to make that step. Let's start talking about that process now, right? Because we know what we just covered was fundamental, and I agree with you. Yeah. It's a mindset game. My next guest, who's going to be on in a little bit, she literally came here in a boat and couldn't speak English. Now she's a doctor. She owns agencies. I mean, it's amazing. So when I hear people talking about different things, I'm like, what excuse do you have? I seen somebody doing CrossFit the other day, a female, and she was doing, and she had I didn't realize it, but she was doing a bunch of burpees, and then she was doing the kettlebells, and she was doing all these different things, but she had no arm. She only had one arm, but she didn't even have a hand here. And I'm looking at, geez, I felt tired yesterday and I didn't go to the gym. I was like, what's my excuse, right? So it's really about mindset. You know what I mean? No matter
Totally.
what it is, whether it's business, exercise, getting ahead in life, mindset's so important. So let's say somebody has already decided, okay, I want to make the break. I'm not sure where to start. Let's, you said you have a certain step. Can we start talking about that a little bit? After they've made that start, I mean, the first thing, you don't ask, a family member who's negative and sits down and watches Netflix and eats Doritos all day, stay away from them, right? But at least for advice. But so what steps would you advise they take?
Yeah, totally. And I think there are several steps, and a lot of them go hand in hand, because what you also said is like the mindset is super, super, super important. So, and that always goes along with all the other steps, right? So the first thing is really making that decision. What you said is absolutely so, because a lot of people are thinking and dreaming and it's like, oh, I wish and I wish and I wish, but it's really like, okay, are you really making that decision? And that's where it starts. Like, yes, I am going to make a change in my life. I'm going to shift careers, or I'm going to transition and be an entrepreneur. So it's really making that decision. Then it's about getting that clarity. And the clarity is about, okay, this is my situation. This is what I really want. How do I get there? And then it's making a plan. Like if you have clarity on your situation and what you want, then you have a goal, and then you can create a plan. When you have a plan, you can then take the steps, but then also know your priorities, okay? Because if you want to grow online, for example, there's a website, there's social media, but social media means, is it Facebook, is it LinkedIn, is it Twitter, is it Instagram? There's so many things, and you just can't do it all. And then comes the newsletter and the email provider and the messaging. And so it's like, okay, hold on. And what I help with is not just the clarity, but ditch the overwhelm. Because when I first started too, I was like, trying it all out and looking at all these courses and webinars. And then I wanted to have my own online courses, and I wanted to publish books, and I wanted to have my website done. It's like, oh my gosh, I was just so, so, so overwhelmed. So it's really about, okay, what's your priority? What do you need in your situation? What's the first step? And then the next, and then the next, and then keeping them accountable. Like, okay, this week, let's do this. Let's make the Facebook group. Let's post. Let's get clear on that. Then the next step, let's do that. And then just always see results. I'm a big action taker. So like with every call that I have with my clients, it's like, okay, next step is this, like really straightforward. This is it. This is it. This is it. And so along with that, it's also continuously that belief in yourself. It's like every time we take a step, we will be facing some fear, right? And it's like, okay, how do you address that fear? Let's confront that fear. Let's beat that fear. Because every time you overcome a fear, you have this sense of, psychological victory. Like, yes, I did this. Now I can move forward and move forward. And so, yeah, so I'm really excited, because it's so fun when I see my clients like, okay, now this, and then they feel that sense of achievement. Like, okay, now I got this, then that, and then it's that transition, and then seeing the growth and the results.
I love it. And so what I'm taking away from that, right, is that they get a plan, even if it's a 10-step plan, and the 10 steps are 10 things you need to do. You need your website, you need your Facebook business page, you need Google My Business, you need your Instagram business account, you need this, you need this, you need this. But break it, don't get overwhelmed. Sit back and say, okay, and then, okay, this week I'm going to do this, or I'm going to complete this. If it takes you 3 days, if it takes you 10 days. So that way they're taking the step, they're taking action, they're accomplishing things. So they have that sense of accomplishment, and then they get the next thing and they build on it. And it not only builds their whole presence or whatever the structure they've laid out, but it also builds their confidence and their belief in themselves in the whole process. I love it. I love that, the simplicity of it, right? But it's also fundamental.
It's simple, and it's not. I mean, it's simple, but if you're right in the middle to it, I mean, you know that as well as I do. It's like when you're right in the middle to it, you just don't know. There's like a ton of things and information. And so, when I'm standing on the outside, I can say, okay, hold on. Why do you need Twitter if you have Facebook? Let's just focus on that. Why this? Why, and then everybody has their own, set of priorities. But there's one thing you also mentioned that I do want to point out. It's the people you're surrounded with is so important. Your tribe is what I call them. And so for me, it was also a process of, there's these people in the beginning that, your loved ones and your really good friends, and they love you so much, and they want you, they don't want you to have fear, and they want the best for you. But they're also the ones that keep you stuck, because they would be like, oh, are you sure? And why would you do that? And, maybe you should stay in your job, right? And earn a good salary every month. Why would you change that? Well, because I'm not fulfilled. But they don't get it. So if you start selecting those people that motivate you, that inspire you, like not to compare and do nothing, but to inspire you and do, because those who inspire you, they will motivate you. They will say, okay, come on, move through and go on. And so it's so important to have that right set of people around you, and say no. Dare to say no to those people who are like, oh, come on and let's party. No, I'm doing this. I'm writing a book. I'm making a video. I'm making a course. No, this is what I want to do.
I love it. And Les Brown talks about that. He talks about only quality people. Surround yourself. And they also talk about like your income. If you take the top 5 people that you spend the most time with, your income will usually be around $2,000 of them. So he jokes and he says, when I heard that, I stopped hanging around with all my broke friends. And but I agree with you. And if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're the smartest person at the table, you're at the wrong table. And I don't, I'm not talking scholastically, because somebody might have a PhD, but if you're in a given field, whatever your field of endeavor is, and you're at a table of other business owners and entrepreneurs, and you're the smartest person at that table, that's great to give back. A third of your time, they break it down into like a third. A third of your time is to be with people who are coming up, and you're trying to help them. A third of your time should be spent with contemporaries, people on your level. So you're not talking about current events, you're talking about ideas and concepts. But then a solid 30 of your time should be spent with people who are operating on a level 3 to 5 times higher than you want to be. I mean, if I want to be at this level, I want to associate with people who are operating, because their conversation is different, the thought process is different, the questions they ask are different, and you want to be there, so be there. And sometimes you have to go to events and fly across the country or regionally or whatever the case may be, or in this case, get online. Sometimes you got to pay up. You pay up. Friend Carlo says, "Pay up to show up to blow up," and all these little catchy phrases. But and people who pay attention. So they pay to get into the room. If you're going to the local networking events, and because you're getting 2 free pieces of pizza and a little bottle of water, and there's 4 people in there doing some type of social media, 4 people doing real estate, 3 doing insurance. I mean, how far are you going to get in life, right? So you want to. I love how you said that. It's so important, the people you associate with. Now, we all have family members. We're not talking about that. It's who we live with is one thing. We're talking about who you're associating with on a professional level. You really need to level your game up if you want to level up. So I love say that.
And the easiest way to understand, because some people they don't seem to, I've had that before, like I totally get what you mean, but some people, they just don't get it. It's like, but and I can't choose those and those and those. Yes, you can. And the thing is, like, even with family members, if there are a few family members that really drag you down, and those naysayers, and they really have this negative energy, and the fastest way to get it is like when you have a conversation with someone, and after the conversation, you feel like exhausted and drained, and just, like, oh, that's the energy vampire, which I called you. So try to just, try to end that conversation. I don't even care when I'm talking to somebody I don't know, and I really feel that, like, oh, because I'm so used to like training myself in that. But it's like, you know what? I just got off the conversation, like, you know what? I'm sorry, I need to go up, and I go to somebody else. I don't even care, because they don't give me the energy that I want. But if you're talking to someone, it's like, oh yeah, and this idea and that, and this and that, and you just feel completely uplifted. Those are the ones you have to spend more time with. So yes, if you have loved ones and friends and family that you cannot choose, you can choose to spend less time with them. You always have a chance. You always have a choice. You always have a choice, and spend more time. When always, oh, come and have a coffee and come to my birthday, and no, I don't. Maybe I'll come and pop in and out, but maybe I won't. It's your own life. I want people to realize you always have a choice, and it's your responsibility. And if you have responsibilities, it's your life and your future. You can create it, but it's always your choice and always your responsibility. Always.
I love it. And that's my biggest thing in everything the screen just got a lot bigger. That's one of my biggest things is personal responsibility. You know what I mean? We create our futures. You know, we all have our own past. You know, Jim Rohn is famous for saying, you know, whatever's happened to you has pretty much happened to everybody else. A different place, different time, different person, different building. But, you know, the mental and emotional feelings are pretty much the same. It's what you do with it that counts after. You know
but again, it all starts here, right?
It's so important.
One example. Do we have time for one example? Because this is something I made a video with, and it resonates with a lot of people. It's like when you feel like, you know, oh, and I'm stuck, and I don't know, and there's no way out, and you know, and I don't have the right people, and I cannot do that, and you know, it happens to a lot of us. When you keep saying that, it will get you nowhere. You will stay stuck. So my biggest tip, and I did it myself, and I'm training my clients to do that. When I was stuck in corporate and I kept saying, oh, and I'm a manager and I don't like my job and I'm working for a boss, boom, where did it got me? I just stayed there. The moment I started shifting my thoughts and I actually changed that language in my mind and also towards others, I said, you know, I love traveling and I'm traveling the world and I love what I do. And I wasn't doing that yet. Okay. Let me be clear. I wasn't living my dream life yet, but I was constantly thinking about it. I was talking about it. You know, people that didn't know me well, like, you know what? I love traveling and I'm an entrepreneur in my blood and I'm growing online and I'm growing on YouTube. Maybe I had 10 subscribers at that time, you know, like, no, I'm growing on YouTube. I was growing, you know, but I changed that language. I never ever said again, oh, I'm a corporate and I'm a manager and blah, blah, blah. No. So shift, you know, everything here and my life, bam, it just starts transforming. And it's just, it really is everything. It's your thoughts, the language that you speak in your mind. It does it. It does it. You can create your future.
I love it. We had a guest on, Bob Donnell, and he was talking about something similar. And he talked about how, gave an example about if you're lying in bed and you're getting ready to go to the gym. If you say, I got to get up, I got to get dressed, I got to come back, I got to take a shower, I got to do this, I got to do that. It's all a negative reference. You know what I mean? It becomes a chore now. It becomes a burden. But if you say, I get to go to the gym, I get to do this, or whatever it is, whatever the scenario is, you change that from I get to I get to. And,
I am talking about in the present.
Just
I wake up in the morning. I wake up in the morning, and even if I had like a terrible night and I don't know what happened, I lay in my bed, I open my eyes, and the first thing that I say is like, today is going to be a great day. Like literally, like even whatever else is going on, today is going to be a great day. And that's it. And it just instantly puts me in a good mood.
I love it. And we got about 4 or 5 minutes left, and I'd love to. You have a course that you give out, and I'd love you to talk about that and just tell people a little bit more about how they. I mean, your contact info is going to be scrolled. I'm going to put your course up right now. So, guys, this is amazing. It's a video series. You can sit and watch all at one time. You can watch one a day, whatever it is, but it's totally free. What a wonderful gift. So thank you, Rachel. If you want to talk a little bit about that and, you know, maybe fine tune the, you know, the benefits. If somebody works with you, you know, what will change in their life?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Well, yes, the free training is right here below or in the chat or wherever you can find the link. And that's a video training with 7 steps to really get you unstuck. Like you're stuck in a situation. How do you get that clarity to get unstuck? On the other hand, you can find a lot of really valuable videos every single week on my YouTube channel. And if you work with me, that's what you get. You get me, very straightforward, very down to earth. Every single call we have next steps to get you unstuck and to move towards that dream life of yours. It's really that transition of where you are now to shift your mindset and to take steps gradually so that you can grow your business and be that entrepreneur that you want to be. And that's me. And I absolutely love helping people.
I love it. And guys, this is an amazing gift and offer here. Seven steps video format, easy to digest. And Rachel's the real deal. You go back if you're just jumping on now, or you didn't have a chance, you're watching the replay and you come in somehow in the middle. I advise you to go back and listen to the beginning. Her contact information. This is the free steps. You can just get that in a second. Here's all her contact information scrolling by as well.
It's always my name. If you can spell my name, Rachel Smets, Smets, it's my website, my YouTube, everything is Rachel Smets. So just plop that in and you'll find me.
Excellent. That's good. I was going by my company, RCS Online Solutions, for years, but I have switched over to my name as well.
Yeah, it's
And I
so
found
easy.
it so much easier because
Yeah,
people see my name, they hear my name, but then
yeah,
they search me, and you know what I mean?
yeah.
Now if you search my name, I'm like,
Now they find you.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. And thankfully,
It's a big tip for every entrepreneur there. If you want to grow online, please, I mean, brand your own name.
yeah,
It's
you
just,
got to buy
yeah,
your
do
name.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
It is so funny. Jay-Z said that before many years ago. He says, you don't even own your own name. And he was talking about that. He was talking about, he said, I am a business. He says, I'm not a businessman. I am a business man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you want to own your own name and the
Yeah.
.com. And if why, and if you
Yep.
can't, like, put in your middle initial .com or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Or if
Yeah.
you're a doctor, for some reason, you have a very common name, somebody else has it, try to get it. You want to have that for your branding.
Yeah.
That's
Because people look you up and then they just type your name. They don't type in SEO, I don't know what. They just,
yeah, they
yeah,
type.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But here's the thing too about SEO, that now when somebody's looking for your product or service, if they know you, they're going to type in your name or your company name. But if they
Hmm.
don't know you, they're going to type in,
True.
how to do this, how to get
Yeah.
clarity, how to do that. So people
Yeah.
have to, if I type in, how do I get clear? How do I get clarity on my business? I mean, if somebody
Yeah.
types in like clarity in you, or if somebody's a cleaner or something, whatever the business is, they're typing in. If
Mm.
they don't know that person's name, they're
Yeah.
typing in the service, solution, or product that they're looking
Yeah.
for. And that's what somebody has to rank for.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're going to rank for your own name,
Yeah.
right? Your company's
Yeah,
name.
totally. That's why all my titles, all my video titles have the keywords of, transitioning corporate or quitting my job or, or
Exactly.
clarity. Yeah,
That's super
absolutely. Yeah,
important
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
that's how people are going to
yeah,
see
yeah.
YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I spend more time on my keywords than on creating the video. Yeah, totally. Yeah, for
I love
sure.
it. And a little thing too, that YouTube is the second biggest platform out
Yeah,
there. So
yeah.
Google is not, but also for like people under 35, and that's probably a great audience for you because they may have got out of school, got paid all this money to go to college. They got a degree in this, and they're working in something totally different because they couldn't get a job in that field, so they're unhappy. So they want to get out of that corporate life. They're under 35. So, but YouTube is the #1 search engine for
Yeah.
people under 35. Overall, it's the #2 for for everybody. But so that's a great. I love the fact that you're on YouTube. That's a good base.
That's another thing that, because I'm 40 plus, and last year I really started really focusing and boiling down on YouTube, whereas a lot of people were like, oh, YouTube, there's millions of YouTubers. I mean, why would you start YouTube? I'm like, nope, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be consistent. I'm not going to stop. It takes a lot of hours and a lot of effort, but it works. It just works.
Exactly, and that's exactly.
So,
It does take time and effort, but
so
it's mindset. Here is the free 7 steps again, everybody. And again, if you just type in her name, Rachel, RACHEL SMETS, a ton of information will come up, and you can certainly reach out and contact her. And this is just the whole information about the show going by right now. But Rachel, I want to thank you so much. You've been a wonderful guest, and
thank you.
I look forward to talking to you offline and seeing, because some of my clients come to me and at the very beginning they're unclear of certain things, and then I have to spend time with that, and then I would I think it'd be better to send them to somebody who's a lot clearer, and then when they come to me, boom, I just execute.
I was thinking the same, because for me it's like they're still stuck somewhere. They're trying to get their feet in the online world and be an entrepreneur, and once they're there, then I'm done with my job and I can send them to you, and then push them forward. Awesome. Yeah, great idea.
It's a natural extension both ways, before and
Yeah.
after. So I look forward to speaking to you. We'll maybe get caught up today, tomorrow, the next few days,
Yeah.
whatever works for you. Okay. You have a great day, Rachel. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you. Thank you so much.